Hello everyone and welcome to Contentment Guide Astrology. I am Michelle and this video is about the astrology for the week of 11 to 17 September. So a lot is happening this week, as it usually is. And the main thing I want to mention, that I also mentioned in the last video, is the minor grand trine that is happening in the sky at the moment between Pluto at 29 Capricorn, Neptune at 28 Pisces, and Uranus at 27 Taurus. So these are all retrograde at the moment, and Uranus is going to go out of range at some point in time. And this minor grand trine will actually only really be broken up when Pluto moves back into Aquarius in the middle of November. So this is actually a really auspicious time, because for these three outer planets to be in a minor grand trine like this can bring a lot of change into our lives, and a lot of things that we may have been sitting with and dealing with, and things that never shifted for decades can actually shift now. So as with the outer planets, these are deep things, especially when Pluto is involved, and with Neptune it's very expansive, and with Uranus things can change very quickly. So I am going to make a separate video with a meditation for this minor grand trine, because I feel this is such an important energy to work with at this time in our lives. So yeah, like I said, so this is active now, and really until the middle of November we can work with these energies in our lives. So on the 12th of September, we've got Mars at 4 degrees of Cancer, sextiling Mercury at 4 degrees of Virgo. And this can be a very driven energy with Mars being involved. Your mind can be sharp, you can be driven to solve problems and work on mental things and have discussions that can really lead to amazing outcomes with this more harmonious sextile energy. Improved focus, a real sense of purpose. It can also feel a little bit restless with Mars, and maybe a very busy mind because of the Mars energy as well. But generally, because it's a sextile, your mind can really feel sharp and energized, and it can be good for things like business endeavors, all things related to Mercury in terms of discussions, mental sharpness, new ideas and discussions. So on the same day, we will also have the Sun at 20 degrees of Virgo squaring Jupiter at 20 degrees of Gemini. And this is really active until about the 15th of September still. So this being a square between Jupiter and the Sun, it's a little bit more of a challenging energy. I mean, Jupiter is a benefic planet, but this being a square, Jupiter being expansive and the Sun having to do with our egos. The Sun can represent the ego. It can represent bosses, people in authority. These things can be challenged at this time in terms of almost Jupiter bringing in an overconfidence, having to deal with energies of expansion that may feel really challenging in terms of ego, or having to deal with things where we need to make sure that we feel more grounded in where we actually are at, with things to do with ego and confidence, and be able to not be overconfident when it comes to certain things. I mean, I think a lot of us always think that we struggle more with not enough confidence than with too much confidence. But with this transit, there's very much a sense of being aware of where our true talents and confident issues lie, and what not to push too hard. And at the same time, we also have the moon at 4 degrees of Capricorn opposite Mars at 4 degrees of Cancer. Now, Mars recently moved into Cancer, and this is going to bring a lot of long-term energies around Cancer-related things like the feminine, the home, family structures, and these kind of things. Mars is going to spend a very long time in the area of Cancer, because it's traveling through there for 2 months, then it's moving into Leo, then it's turning retrograde, and it's going back into Cancer again. So there's going to be about a 5-month period of Mars in Cancer. So there's definitely an area of our lives here that we are going to look at in a lot of detail. And it's worth spending a lot of time on this, because with a Mars retrograde that is a bit of a longer period, there's always amazing things that can be transformed and worked out during this time. So Mars is also not super comfortable in the sign of Cancer, and it takes a little bit more energy and groundedness for Mars to do what it needs to do in this area of the chart. So with the moon being opposite Mars on the 12th, this can be a bit of a challenging energy in terms of dealing with challenging emotions. There might be some anger, some discussions that need to come to the forefront around more challenging topics. And you can check in which specific area of your chart this falls. But in general, with Mars being in Cancer, like I said, it's around feminine issues, mothers, families, homes, these types of topics. And then on the 13th, the moon has now moved ahead to 18 degrees of Capricorn and is squaring Venus in Libra. So this kind of continues the energies of the opposition with Mars, because Venus in Libra also represents relationships, family dynamics, things around the feminine. And in Libra, there's always a sense with Venus being in its home sign of wanting to find balance. But this square to the moon in Capricorn can again be related to more challenging energies around relationships and emotions and things coming up around relationships, and wanting to find more balance and harmony in this area of the chart. So then between the 14th and the 15th, we have Venus at 20 degrees of Libra, now trining Jupiter in Gemini. So Jupiter in Gemini is very expansive. Gemini is so multifaceted, so Jupiter also becomes more multifaceted in this sign. Jupiter is also not super at home in Gemini, so it needs to work a little bit harder in order to achieve what it wants to achieve and to bring the energies that it wants to bring. But the trine is a harmonious energy, and so after the challenging energies with the Mars and the Moon and Venus and the Moon, this can be a more expansive energy that now emerges after those challenges. Because Jupiter and Venus are the two benefics of the chart, this can be a time from the 14th to the 15th where there's expansion and understanding and new balance in terms of justice in the world, love, relationships, all of these things to do with Jupiter and Venus. And then the 17th of September is going to be an eclipse, and I will do a separate video on this moon. But I just wanted to mention that between the 16th and the 17th, we are going to have Venus at 22 degrees of Libra, now opposite Chiron. So at the time of this lunar eclipse on the 17th, there's going to be an immense healing opportunity with Venus being opposite Chiron. And it could be uncomfortable because we could experience some exposure of wounds and things around relationships and emotional things at this time. But there's always room for great healing where Chiron is involved, and greater understanding of certain things that we struggle with and certain things that tend to hold us back. But more on that in my lunar eclipse video for the 17th of September. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to share for this week. The energies still feel very dynamic, and I do feel that with this minor grand trine between the outer planets that's going to last for still a bit more than 2 months, there's great opportunity for awareness and change at this time. I drew a tarot card for this week, and I received the 6 of Wands. And this is quite a beautiful energy for this week, actually. This card speaks about success, recognition, progress on the path, confidence. He's sitting on his horse. The horse represents strength and forward movement and purity. He's wearing a wreath on his head and also on his wand, which represents success. And then the people walking next to the horse all look like they are celebrating. So there's definitely an energy of more celebration this week. I don't know if you remember, the card I drew last week was that sense of this is the last hurdle before we get to the end of a certain energy that we were working through. So I love this card for this week because it really feels uplifting and triumphant, and I think we can all do with some of that in our lives at the moment. So thank you for being here. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear how you are experiencing these energies at this time. I do offer personal readings. You can contact me through the link in my website below. And I will see you for the lunar eclipse video next.